Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hey guys, welcome to Creator to Creators today. Today we have a special guest in the building, director, writer, actor extraordinaire.
Hey, what's happening, Lawrence? Adisa.
How you doing, my friend?
Good, ready to rock and roll. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so happy I can have you on the show. And this show is about talking to creatives that like yourself, people that, doing what they love to do and making a living out of doing it. Can you tell me from the beginning a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and how you got inspired to get into the industry, and like what led you into it?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up in New York, money earning Mount Vernon, New York, home of Denzel and Heavy D and everybody else. And just growing up in that city, because a lot of people were already doing their thing in the entertainment industry, it was easy to get motivated, to try that path, take that journey to the entertainment arena, as we like to call it. So, yeah, I gave it a shot early on in my early 20s. Did a lot of plays, off-Broadway, took a lot of classes in Manhattan, just paid a lot of dues, extra work, just learning my craft, and was 100% committed, so it didn't matter if it took a year or 5 years. I was in it to win it. And that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't tell you. You look great.
Thank you.
What would you like? What was it? Was it a movie that you watched, or was it just something you were like, what? I want to try this. I want to get into it.
Honestly, I was. And a lot of my friends back home know the story. I was working at a bank called Marine Midland Bank in New York, and I was basically like the mailman. Delivering mail all around the branches. And I honestly hated the job. I just hated delivering people's mail. I just felt like God put me on this earth to do more than deliver people's mail. But I had to do what I had to do. And one day I literally, we were in the lunchroom, I believe, taking a lunch break, should I say. And I saw a commercial, like a lot of people see. Hey, you want to be an actor? Come down to so-and-so studios and blah, blah, blah. So I did it. I went down to Manhattan. It was called Faces International.
Nice.
And unfortunately, it was a ripoff company.
Oh, no.
One of those companies that they tell you, it costs $1,000, $1,500 for your photos.
Oh my God.
To go into their catalog, and the catalog gets shipped out to agents and producers globally. It was a very what's the word I want to use? It was very well run. I mean, they had people like Bill Cosby on the cover of their quarterly magazine.
Wow.
To give it the impression that they were interviewing Bill Cosby, Michael Caine. I mean, I remember this stuff like it was yesterday, because that's how they sucker you in. If you see Bill Cosby on the cover,
oh yeah, you're like,
it must be legit, right? And
right.
When you open the cover, there's like hundreds of photos of aspiring actors and models, etc. Hundreds. It's a very thick book that they say they mail out and I was one of the hundreds. I was one of the hundreds. But, you know, I knew something was wrong after, you know, I paid for it. I knew something was wrong a few months later.
Yeah.
So I had, I don't know. It's just, you know, my instincts. I don't, you know, I'm not what they call someone who you're going to get away with, you know, punking me. So I had some lawyer friends.
Okay.
And I contacted some lawyer friends of mine and told them what happened. And they sent some threatening letters to Faces International.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, one of the like managers there contacted me, and she was like, "Lawrence, look, your attorney contacted us, and believe it or not, it's a true story. That lady,
Wow,
her and I became friends. She literally started to submit me for legitimate auditions that she knew on her own.
Wow,
On her own,
wow.
legitimate. There's a casting director named Twinkie Bird, very well known African American casting director, one of the biggest in Hollywood.
Wow.
She casted me in a music video that Queen Latifah, it was one of her groups, and I got paid like $400 or $500 for that.
Nice.
I booked a commercial that paid like I think $800 or whatever. At the end of the day, I made back the $1,500 that I paid
Right.
from acting.
Right.
From acting. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was it. Once I got ripped off, I was in. Yeah.
You like, you know, I know what to like. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't like discourage you at all or like take you away from the path.
Nah. It motivated me.
Right.
Me. I got my money back, and once I got my money back, I got a real agent, and then I got a guest star role with New York Undercover.
Awesome.
Regina King was my co-lead.
Love her.
And she's awesome. We've been friends ever since. And then I did Spike Lee joint Clockers after that. So it just started rolling after that. Once I got ripped off, it started rolling.
No, I love that. I love that it just, so, you know, steady, progressively going. Were there times where you like were in your work, like in your artistry craft, do you feel like you're kind of stuck and like not motivated? And how do you stay motivated and like kind of get out of that rut as an artist?
That's a good question, because unfortunately, a lot of artists that I've experienced, it's like 0 to 100, and they are like on 100, okay. Right? Pedal to the metal. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be on TV and blah 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 blah. Which is, you know, it's what you would think would be natural. Mm-hmm. But you're so focused and committed that you don't take a breather.
Right.
You know,
right.
You're waiting for that phone to ring and the agent doesn't call you back. You know, the callback doesn't work out. And you can be like, your head will explode because you're not stepping away. What I did early on, my friends that I became like brothers with, we all like to party. Mm-hmm. Our escape was going out. Mm-hmm. Just because you go hang out and get some fresh air doesn't mean you're not focused. If you have an audition the next day, of course, you handle your business. If you don't have any auditions and your phone's not ringing, don't sit there.
It's tough.
Get out. Yeah. Get out. You gotta get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. When you having, like, when you're getting, like I say, you have auditions, and sometimes like, I remember getting an agent and I was getting some stuff, but I was booking on my own more than they're working for me. So I felt like you're saying, you should get out of that situation and find someone that's constantly, you know, getting you work. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even finding agents are kind of tough. What did you do? Like, did you just online referrals through just friends telling you like who to go to?
Yeah. You know, once I got ripped off from that company, and I started taking like legitimate acting classes, Black Filmmaker Foundation, they might still be in Harlem. But I went there and I got a lot of knowledge from there. They had these books. And now everything's online, of course, but they had like agent books or directors.
Okay.
agent, manager directories. And I did the old school way. I mailed out like 100 headshots
Wow.
to agents in New York, and a couple called back. And one of them, Carson Organization, Steve Carson, legitimate agent. They liked me, called me in.
Mm-hmm.
I had no
Wow.
contacts, no connections. I just did it the old way. I just mailed out my headshots. And I tell people that. Mail out your headshot. Just don't mail it to Faces International. Yeah.
For those that are listening, do not mail it to Faces International. No, that is why. Like, that's wild because I bet to you, do you feel like now the newer generation, things are like more like they want it easier? Like, I don't want to mail it out, and you're like, in my day, we really worked it. So I'm sure there's that difference.
Everything is faster. Information is easily accessible. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they wanted the fast way. Hey, can you connect me? And that can work, like, but if you don't have, like, people want agents or managers, or should I say aspiring actors want agents and managers like that. They want you to hook them up.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. Like, agents and managers, they want to see what you have to offer. So you have to have a reel.
Right.
How do you get a reel? You got to do, student films, whatever it is. You have to acquire content.
Right.
You can't just walk in there, and that's what they think. So I always tell them, you don't need an agent to book student films or indie films, non-union. You don't need that. Book some roles, get the footage, get yourself a reel. Once you get a reel of your performances, then you can send me your reel. The reel still might not be enough because it's not like SAG type work, right? Agents only want SAG work, but some other agents love to get like the fresh face that has some really awesome material footage.
Right.
But a lot of these aspiring actors, they haven't acquired any footage.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't have any footage, you got to send out headshots. Period.
Right. Mm-hmm. I've seen that a lot. I filmed a year ago, and we were like looking for people to submit their audition, like not just audition tape, but their reels. A lot of the actors surprisingly were like, I don't have any reel. I'm like, you don't have a reel? And it just blew my mind. I'm thinking like, that's really nuts. So yeah, definitely get those reels for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
I have a question, moving into obviously you create so much. I've seen a lot of your work and I got to work with you, which is so awesome. I'm very, very privileged to work with you. You're awesome. And, I don't know if you can talk about the new project, but, what inspired that? Night Games.
Oh, wow. Night Games, I'm a horror buff. So
okay.
yeah, even though I've made comedies, etc., but I love hardcore horror. I shot a horror a couple of years ago called B&B Hell. It wasn't as hardcore. It was more suspense thriller type of horror. This one, I wanted it to be really where I like to go. I like the gore and all that stuff. So I knew my next film is going to be more of my flavor, right?
Yeah.
Not vanilla. It's going to have a lot of flavor to it, with the killings. So I just during the COVID thing, I really didn't have the creative juices flowing, even though it was COVID.
Yeah.
So I optioned the original Night Games.
Okay.
Right. I optioned it from a writer, Sean Knox, and his version of it. Me and my wife, we were looking for just a skeleton.
Okay.
Basically a big house with a small cast was what I was looking for in a script. And then from there, I was going to add everything: the meat, the bones, the veins, the arteries, the jacket, the pants, everything.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. All we did was really keep the title and there's only 3 actors in the original Night Games.
Oh, okay.
And the final Night Games is 11 actors, I believe. It's a completely different storyline. I just completely put it created it or rewrote it into my vision.
Right.
But it started with just going through a whole bunch of submissions. I went through Ink Tip, I believe it's called, and a bunch of writers submitted their scripts, and we read all of like the synopsis of all the over 100 scripts.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah. So we picked night games, and then I just got busy. I started rewriting it.
Yeah.
And my team gave me some good ideas as well. My guy Solomon, Ronnie came on later in the early stages of principal photography, and he gave me some ideas as well.
Nice.
So it was a collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm.
But the final version definitely is where Lawrence Adisa likes to go with these horrors. Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Yes. What's one of your favorite like hardcore horror films of yours? What's your, and why?
Oh, definitely Saw is number one.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why Saw is number one. Hostel.
Oh yeah.
Those type of, like the whole thing with the boo, and you're shocked, you look around. That's a different type of horror, right? That's like Quiet Place, which is awesome. But Saw, it's not a boo gotcha.
Yeah.
they're showing you they have a saw and they're going to cut you with a saw, right?
Right.
So I like that. I just get to it. You don't need to scare me with the gotcha. Just get to it, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I love that you, would you say as a director and an African-American director, man, in this industry, do you purposely put basically like, people of color in those starring positions? Do you feel like it's, just like you said, like what Tyler Perry's doing, for the culture? Like, is that something that you keep in mind when you do make these projects?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm when I did Clockers back in '94, I already had Spike Lee on my wall.
Okay.
As if he was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I had, and my childhood friends can attest to that, can co-sign. I had Spike Lee's on the cover of Source magazine with Charles Barkley.
Wow.
Spike Lee on the cover of Spin magazine on my wall, right? Because I'm a big fan of just having knowledge of self,
Right.
from Malcolm X, the whole nine, right? So I'm very knowledgeable of my history. So those are the guys that motivated me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a chance to work with Spike.
Man, I bet that was amazing.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true. So now I get an opportunity to create my own work. There has to be diversity, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera.
Yes.
Let's get some balance here. And that is a focus of mine is to give my people an opportunity that they don't normally get.
Right.
So absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's changing? Do you think that the industry is changing? Like diversity and
yeah.
Yeah,
it's changing. And, process is a slow, what do they say? It's a slow journey, slow path, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. We know the cards that we're dealt.
Yeah.
So some people can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough work. You look at all the TV shows and 90% might be dominated by anybody but people of color. As far as, the regulars on the show. Okay. Those are the cards of the dealt.
Yeah.
It didn't stop Spike Lee. It didn't stop Sidney Poitier. It didn't stop, Tyler Perry. So we got to just, 10 toes down, get to work and just create our own opportunities. And that's just what it is. So that's how I look at it. That's what it is.
I love that. And I totally 100% agree. What kept you going or what's one of the things that through your journey, like one of the greatest advices that you ever had that kept you going thus far?
Two things. When I was a senior in high school and I had no aspirations of being an actor at that time, I was just like most kids, just trying to figure out. Didn't have a clue. I remember my 12th grade English teacher telling me that I would end up pushing shopping carts at a supermarket.
Wow.
That was his motivation, right? If you want to call it that.
Yeah.
It wasn't motivating, it was insulting.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me.
Mm.
Even though after he said that I was a senior in high school, I never forgot it. It's not that it like the next day I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a scholar somewhere. It just stuck in the back of my head.
Right.
And then when I started, to pursue this acting thing, and then I got ripped off with Faces International, it was like, okay, here's an opportunity. I can end up going to that supermarket and push some shopping carts because I got ripped off at Faces International.
Right.
And now I'm proving that my English teacher was right. Right. I was only like 21 years old or something at the time. Or I can prove him wrong. And I'm pretty sure he's forgotten about me. I'm one of hundreds of kids that he's taught. But it was my own little thing that I kept in the back of my head to this day.
Wow.
When you watch the movie Night Games at the end of the credits, all the way at the end, I give a shout out to that teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't,
Wow.
It's not a positive thing. He can't pat himself on the back. Right.
Right.
I just want to prove you wrong. So whenever there was slow times where auditions were slow, like before I started producing, or I didn't get that gig that I really wanted, I lost out to this actor or whatever, I always said to myself, now my time, I just got to keep grinding. That's it. They keep calling you in the room. There's a reason for that. They stop calling you. You can't even get in the room. You're not getting those callbacks. Then, hey, you might go head over to Rouse and push the shopping carts. But if they calling you in that room, that means you got talent. That's simple.
Okay. Love that.
If calling you in that room, you have talent. Just, you might be too tall, too short. Whatever it is, they like you. They do like you. Their name is on casting directors. When they put actors in front of producers and directors, their reputation's at stake. Right.
100%.
So, yeah, that's my motivation.
No, that's amazing. Right? The fact that someone told you that's gonna, oh my God, I can't imagine. But it's kind of like that whole situation that happened with Michael B. Jordan when he was on the red carpet for Creed, and the girl was like, "Hey, we go way back. You're that guy." He was like, "Oh, the corny kid from school." He called her. He's like, "I remember that."
Don't forget.
But it's ironic how the tables turn, right? She's interviewing him at his film, and
Yep. He reminded her.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him because some things stick with you.
Yeah.
No matter how much fame, fortune, some things stick with you. And I agree with him.
Same. I was like, I've had my bullies in my day and things like that. So I totally understand the feeling of when someone tries to rule you out. But yeah. But I think this industry, what I love about it is that we're always, despite all that stuff that people say and the naysayers, like you said, continue to push. But, you're believing in yourself. That's all you, at the end of the day, you have. It doesn't matter what people think. And as long as you know what your mission is and your goal is. And, you've created such your IMDb, all the things you've done, is absolutely impressive and amazing. So just having you here talking and giving these gems, thank you. It really means a lot to me and the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I always say to my friends, out there, especially in any industry that you're in, if you have to be your biggest fan.
Right.
That's simple. You're going to have the naysayers, family members, close friends, whoever. You have to be your biggest fan, period.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So thank you for coming on. I could talk longer, but I'm not going to keep it going. But you got to come back again. But yeah, where can people find you on social media? And is there anything you want to say, like a shout out, anything you want to say? Go for it.
No, definitely. I loved it. And when we have the premiere and get that information, the release date, I'll definitely jump back on so we can update your viewers to tune in once we get that official information.
All right.
Night games. My Instagram is my name, Lawrence Adisa. Twitter, same thing, nothing special, Lawrence Adisa. Facebook, Lawrence LA Adisa. And just shout out to the whole Night Games team, especially my ride or die, Solomon, Ronnie Warner, Kingsley, Andrew, and from afar, Boy Mackay, who definitely gives me motivation through this journey, and the whole cast and crew. We have a product, including yourself. You're in the teaser, so let them see the teaser. Show that teaser with you in it.
Definitely, I'll share it.
Yeah, the whole cast and crew. It was a lot of work. Every film is a challenge, but your circle is tight. The circle's tight. All of the outside noise is just noise.
You're right.
We laugh right up your shoulder. Yeah.
Right. That's right. I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for, just chatting with us, and thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.